All right, hello guys, it's Pardo. I had quite a few requests to go through some TradingView basic stuff right from the beginning, so that's what we'll do. Essentially, I see TradingView as essential to long-term profit from trading. So if you haven't got a TradingView account yet, then you will certainly be needing one as far as I'm concerned. For the trading bootcamp, you will definitely need a TradingView account going forward. So let's look at getting one set up. I only have this USD Canadian dollar chart up because actually I'm using it to look for a buying position on this pair currently. So let's go back to the beginning. What is TradingView? TradingView is essentially a social platform for traders. It enables people to interact with each other, exchange ideas, all this good stuff. It tries to be the Facebook of trading. It doesn't really succeed at that, but it's important to note that there are other things to do with TradingView other than just look at charts. So I'm not going to go through the login process because we've all logged into websites before. We all know how the process works. You get sent an email, you verify. You can sign up for just a free account. Just a free account's absolutely fine for now. I'm on a pro account myself, and I do use those tools that I get with the pro account extensively, but they're not required. Okay. Now this is what your home screen should look like. Something similar to this. Okay. And the first thing I'm going to say is, if you're on anything other than TradingView.com, okay. So if you're on .co.uk or if you're on the NL or whatever country you're in, okay, it's worth actually changing it to .com because the content on the American site is so far more extensive than it is on any other. Okay, so it's worth doing that. Okay, so bookmark the .com site. You've got your account, bookmark the .com site, right? And what we're looking at here, you've got your price tickers along the top of, random stuff. Probably the most traded at the moment. Okay, I don't use them at all. So what we've got in this first tab here is the ideas. Okay, now what this is you're looking at any ideas from anyone that's on TradingView on the United States website. Yeah, so if you like harmonic patterns, you can just go into harmonic patterns, look for a specific harmonic pattern if you want. It's the same with wave analysis, any of this stuff. If you like volume, there you are. Chart patterns. Okay, anything you like, you can look in the ideas, or just use this little drop-down menu here to change it to trading ideas, and then just type whatever the hell you want in there. So that's quite useful. I don't use it, but I know it's useful for you guys. So we've got trading ideas and educational ideas. Even though my trading account, I see myself as an educator, I usually put all my education in the trading ideas anyway. So have a flick between the two. If you want to see what's happening on Euro USD, for instance, you just type EUR/USD in there, okay, and it will give you plenty of options to look up for. If it was me, I'd literally just go Euro USD, press enter, and I'm getting all the trading ideas for Euro USD. Okay. Now it's important though that guys that this isn't a signal service. Okay, these traders range from the professional traders to the absolute amateur traders that are posting ideas up for feedback, criticisms, constructive stuff. So these aren't signals, guys. These are just an overview of what people see, what's happening in the markets. Okay, so you can have a play around with that at your as you wish. So the next tab along is the markets tab, and obviously we've got indices, which is like the stock exchange futures, and we've got currencies. This is what we'll be dealing with here. Stocks, bonds, CFDs, generally stuff we're not going to bother with. Cryptocurrencies we might. Euro USD, if we press on that, we come to this screen here. Now this is our first interaction with the actual chart that Euro USD would go on. So to get on the chart to get the chart in front of us so we can interact with it, okay, interactive chart, just press that there. Okay, on the right hand side you'll see a technical analysis summary. Okay, and it basically says what direction the indicators, the selected indicators, say the price is going to be going. And obviously it's looking at buy at the moment. Why is it looking at buy? If you press show more, it will tell you that the oscillators are indicating a sell. The summary is an overall buy, and the moving averages are indicating a strong buy. And then it'll actually expand on that underneath if you're interested. Again, this isn't a tool I use at all, but it's important for you to know that it's there if you want to use it. Again, it's not a signal service, okay? And it allows you to look at the oscillators and the moving averages with a summary over the 50-minute, the 1 hour, the 1 day, the 1 week, and the 1 month time frame. And as you can see, they change according to which one you're on. Okay, so that's that. What I'll do with that is I will just control and left click on interactive chart just to open up that tab for when we look at the actual surface and interact with the chart in a minute. But we're not finished with this front screen yet. So scripts you don't need to worry about for the time being. This is more to do with all the templates and indicators that are on the chart itself and how you interact with them. So we're not bothered with that now. Screener. So this is kind of similar to what this technical analysis summary does here. Okay, it says signal finder. It's not a signal. Okay, it's not a signal. Again, you're getting an overview of, you know, where price is and what's suggested on every chart. Yeah, so this is looking at the Forex market right now, and I can actually select how a chart is performing, what the oscillators are saying, and what trends are being followed. So, I mean, you can have a play. You've got the 15, the 1 hour, the 1 week, the 1 month, the one day on there. Change it to what you want, and just click on these tabs. You get all your strongest buys at the top. Okay, so the strongest buys on according to this, according to the moving averages rating, is New Zealand, Australian dollar, New Zealand CADs. Okay, it's changing all the time. Have a play around if you want with the screener and the Forex signal finder. Again, not a tool I use, but it's nice to know that it's there for you guys. So, probably too soon for this. Hang on. So, I'm just wondering if it's going to let me show you the accounts on here, even though I've signed in. No, it's not. We'll go over that a bit later. So let's actually look at interacting with the charts themselves. Now, if you guys are interested in building a business, okay, there is the social side of this. You can sort of plug yourself on here. So I've got my Twitter up the top. I've got my Facebook Gateway group up the top. I've got a little note that says contact me if you want help with your trading. Okay. And in fact, we'll not look at my profile because there might be some sensitive stuff in there. So let's look at the charts themselves then. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, so this is your interface once you select a new chart. Okay, so if we go back to here, let's go back to markets on this menu at the top here. Let's go your USD. Okay, and how I got onto this here is I just pressed interactive chart on this page, right? And that's how I got on there. Okay, and also on this screen, it's showing you popular ideas from people for this chart. Okay, so that's how we get onto here, and this is what we're given when we come in for the first time. So as you can see, all looks messy, a lot of lines everywhere. What you'll find is when you log in, the candles won't look as clear as this. Okay, and so the first thing you need to do is set up your layout for exactly how you want to interpret these charts. So what I mean by that is you can see how I've got these black borders around and these black wicks coming out. Okay, you might not have them when you log in for the first time. So what you'll need to do, I want you to right click, and then I want you to go down to properties, and that'll bring up all the basic stuff of how your chart actually looks in front of you. Okay, so you can change the style of your candles. Okay, I wouldn't bother with this. I'll just leave it as candles because that's what we all know and love. Okay, you can change the colors of your candles with the box underneath, and this is the same looking tool as you'll find anywhere with any tool. Okay, what this bar does at the bottom is actually makes the color more opaque, or it makes it more transparent. Okay, so with your bars, you probably want to leave them fully colored. Yeah, borders. Okay, if you don't have any borders, obviously your candles look completely different. Okay, so I would recommend putting black borders in just to make them stand out, or have a play around, find whatever works for you. There's something different for everyone. Wicks, obviously this is the color of the wicks going out the top. So obviously if you had them white, you wouldn't have any wicks, which doesn't help anyone. But you can have them pink, you can have them whatever color you want. Okay, just find what works for you. Priceline, you can see what happens in the background when I untick that box. Okay, that is where price is currently, and if you want to see that on your chart. Yeah. Now, it's always useful to have this line on, because if you're scrolling back left like this, you want to see where price is currently, and if you've got that line on, you will see that. Okay, but you can change the thickness of the line like this, or you can change the color of it again. Yeah, so useful stuff, guys. Previous close price line, not going to really bother about that one, to be honest with you. I don't use that. I'm not even sure exactly what it means. Previous, yeah, okay, that's what it means. Previous close price line just gives you where the candle was before. I don't see a great deal of point in that one, so I leave it off. Scale, this is whether you want this scale on the left or the right. I'd recommend keeping it on the right. And there's a lot of sort of more advanced stuff for you to play around with. I've pretty much just got the standard settings on here. So scales, left axis. If I want them over there, okay, you can have them on both sides if you want. I don't see the point in that myself. You can also have labels on. I can't actually see them because I've got facing away. So yeah, so if you've got labels on, you can actually, you know, USD price is exactly there, and that will move along with that. I'm not sure if that works with lines. No, not really. All right, so the basic settings are there, guys. I'm not going to get too advanced into these settings because I don't think we need it for now. Just change your candle colors, background to whatever you think works for you. A lot of people like black. I quite like white. Vertical grid lines. So I don't have grid lines on. Again, I don't really see the point in grid lines, but if you want them, you can turn them on here. You can, as you can see on here, I've got the bar set to fully on, but I've set white, so it blends in with the background. If you set it a different color, as you can see, your vertical grid lines come on in the background, and it's the same with this one. So, okay, there's your grid lines, but I don't want them, so I'm going to turn them off. Okay, nice and clean. Watermark. So this is if you want, where is it? There you go. There's the chart in the background. Okay, I don't use that either. So again, watermark, I'm just going to turn off. Crosshair. This is the crosshair that you see moving around the screen right now. How would you want it? Okay, I have mine green for some reason. You can set it up to be a solid line, dotted line, or lots of hyphens. And again, you can set how thick that is. Okay. So I'll just set mine back to what it was. I think it was that one. Yeah, that's nice. That works for me. Okay. We're not going to talk about these because we don't need to. If you go on to the show position, show orders, blah, blah. No, don't need to talk about this one because we haven't got our broker accounts set up to this. We don't need to talk about time zone settings. Events and alerts. If you want to see economic events on your chart, then you can have that selected. You can press that. You can tick that there. Okay. And as you can see in the bottom right hand side, I've had lots of economic events added for the euro and underneath the US dollar. Okay. I don't personally have them on because it gets in the way. So I'm going to turn them off. And if you use something like FX Street instead, then that's better. It works better for me. Okay, so that is the properties sorted. All right, so have a play around, find what works for you. Okay, so before we go any further, we'll go through this right-click menu. Okay, so at the top there, we've got Add Alert. Now, I believe on the free account alerts, you only get one alert, and you can only use it while you're looking or while you're on TradingView on your PC. On the free account, you can only use TradingView in one place at a time as well. Okay, so we won't talk about alerts too much. Trading, we don't need to worry about that because our broker isn't attached to this platform. Go to date. Okay, self-explanatory. Pick a date back in time and go to it. Don't use that too much. Reset chart, this is the one I use all the time. Okay, so when you press reset chart, it's not going to take all your tools away from you. All it's going to do is set the chart back up in the time frame you're in. Okay, so that's all it's done. It's just given me that larger, more clear chart for the 4-hour time frame, which is what I'm on now. Okay, so don't worry about reset chart. It won't take any of your tools off. Chart change symbol. This is where you can put any symbol, type any symbol into here. Okay, and that's basically your pair, your major pair, your crypto pair, your cross pair. Okay, all that kind of stuff. You can type that into there, and it'll bring whatever you want up. Change interval. This is minutes or hours. So if I was to type a 1 in there, it would get default to 1 minute. So for 1 hour, I'd have to type 60 minutes. Okay. If I put 1D, it goes to 1 day. Yeah. If I do 720 minutes. All right. It's pretty self-explanatory. If I put 1W, it goes to 1 week. 1M, 1 month. Okay. 6M, 6 months. There you go. It gave me the exact time frame I wanted. 6 months. Each candle is 6 months. Okay, but we're not going to look at that. So I'm going to change my interval back to 240 minutes, which is 4-hour candle. And there we are. Right click, reset chart. There we are, back exactly where we were. Okay, so next up, add your USD to watch list. So if you press this, you will have your USD come up in this tab on the top right hand side. Okay, so I've already got this on my watch list, obviously, and there it is at the top. If you right click, add to watch list, it'll go to the top right on this tab on the top right hand side. Okay, if you right click, add text note, I've never done this. I'm not even going to go into it. So next up we have symbol info. So this tells you useful stuff like pip size. Okay, again, don't use this, but it's there if you want it. Lock cursor in time, something else I don't use. Ah, okay, I'll see what that does now. So if you lock cursor in time, you can actually move your mouse up and down along price to see what exact price is for this time, this exact time that I've selected. Yeah, so actually that's quite a useful tool that I've never used before. Okay, back to normal. Objects tree. This is just something that you can open up and it'll map out how you've got all your lines and your Fibonacci tools and all that laid out on the chart. So we're not going to worry about that too much now. Study template, we're not going to worry about that. But basically, if you've created yourself an indicator template, okay, it's just one of them. That's what a study template is. Compare or add symbol. So what I'm going to do, Euro USD, okay, is a major currency pair. Yeah, what I'm going to do is add another major currency pair. So I'm going to add US dollar, Swiss franc. Okay, and the reason I'm showing you how to add that is because this brings up correlation in the markets. And what I mean by that, and I'll only talk about it quickly, is it gives you a quick look at how price reacts between these two currency pairs. Okay, and as you can see, they are almost exactly opposite each other. Yeah, so this gives you a nice little indication that what you want to trade now is it interfering with another trade. So if you were to buy Euro USD and you also had a buy on USD Swiss franc, okay, they'd cancel each other out. Okay, so it's quite a useful tool to look at correlation in like that, right? So you can have a play around with that. That's quite cool. Drawing tools, okay. This is drawing tools would be defined as your horizontal lines, your trend lines, your arrows, all that kind of stuff. If you're you have the option magnet mode, which snaps tools to wicks. Ignore stay in drawing mode. Lock all drawing tools. That means you can lock every trend line, horizontal line, and that on the chart for you, so you can't touch them until you untick that. And also hide all drawing tools. If you use loads of tools and they sort of get in the way a bit, okay, you can just hide them momentarily and then untick it again after. Remove is very useful because you can either remove all your indicators, which would be sort of stuff like oscillators, like your RSI, your stock, all that kind of stuff. You can remove them on their own, or you can remove all your drawing tools, which are stuff like horizontal lines and trend lines and that kind of stuff. You can also remove everything, clear the chart. Okay, very simple to use. Price scale, again, it's just what we looked at in properties. Okay, you can have a play with this if you really want to, but the basic settings are pretty good for this, so I'm not going to touch it. This is timescale. You can actually set your time zone for where you are now, so that the times at the bottom come up correctly. I'm UTC or GMT, so 13:57 is all right for me, so I don't need to touch that. Color theme, I wouldn't really bother with this. I'd just set up your own properties as you like it, okay? So that is this right-click menu, very useful menu to have. And now we'll start going around the sides of the actual charting area here. Okay, so I've pressed the F11 just to get rid of all the noise on the outside. If you want to do this, now I do this because it's distracting to look at all the stuff around the outside, okay? It is distracting. So you can either press F11 on your keyboard to expand the screen as normal, or you can press this extension full screen mode up in the top right hand corner of TradingView, okay? And it will essentially do the same, except this time you won't have the tools around the outside, okay? All you have is your favorites bar, okay? So I've been stuck on this screen before. I didn't know how to get out this screen. You just press escape, it brings you back out. So starting off with the top left hand corner, you have your quick access to, so this is me logged in as Pardo 269, okay? And it's just quick access to home, ideas, scripts, what's new with the site, my profile settings, update my status, my account and billing, my support tickets. I've got a few ongoing at the moment. Contact support, all my published ideas, all my followers, and all my following, and then I can sign out. Okay, so for actual charting, we're not going to use this. Next one along, where it says EUR USD, this is your currency pair, your major pair, whatever pair it is you're looking for to trade. So I can put any pair in there, so I can put Great British Pound, Australian dollar, okay? And then it will give you a number of options. As you see here, it says FXCM, OANDA, ICE, or Forex.com. These are just different prices, maybe slightly different on each of these. So what I tend to do is I just stick to FXCM on all of my charts. I think TradingView may have fixed it now so that they're all the same price-wise, but I just pick one, stick with one. I just use FXCM, and I just left-click on that, and it brings me straight to Great British Pound, Australian dollar, okay? Right-click, reset chart, get it back in the middle. Next along, you have your time frame. Now, this is how I change time frame. You can do it using change interval with the right click, or change your time frame on this menu: 1 minute, 3, 5, 15, 30, 45, 1 hour, 2, 3, 4, 1 day, week, or month. And you can actually fine tune it by adding minutes, hours, days, weeks, or months on here, okay? But you don't need to really. So I'll just leave it on the day for now. The next button along, your candles, okay? Again, you can choose which different candles you have. So the ones of relevance to us really, candles, which are what we use here. Normally, Heikin-Ashi, some people, it's very rare in IML to use Heikin-Ashis, but some people do. I use them for charting. I use them for charting currency indexes where there are gaps in the market. So Heikin-Ashi candles actually reduce them gaps to nothing. So if I was to put BXY in there, which is the British currency index, okay, you can see how Heikin-Ashi candles using this tool here actually completes the chart for me. Whereas if I was to go back to normal candles, okay, you can see that it's got an incredible amount of gaps in there, okay? So if you've got a gappy market, the stock markets look a lot like this, except not as bad. You can just change your candles to Heikin-Ashi, and it will actually fill it in for you. And that's how I read currency indexes, for instance. You can use them for stocks as well. Renko Oh, I've got a tickly throat now. Renko, I think on the free account, you can use Renkos on the daily charts only. Now, you don't need to know about Renko really. This is the basic overview of TradingView, so I'm not going to talk about them. But if you watch Stevenson Lindor, he does love Renkos. I think on the free account, it's daily only. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a new currency pair in there. So let's put your Euro AUD, the Euro against the Australian dollar. Okay, right click, reset chart, and now you can watch me change my time frame to 4 hours. You can watch me change my candles, well, my price blocks here, Renko's, back into normal candles, like that, okay? And the next tab along is just a compare again. So you can add a symbol to Euro AUD. So if you wanted to know how, let's say, AUD USD, Australian dollar against the US dollar, compared against what happened on the Euro Australian dollar, just do that. And you can see exactly how price moves between the two. Yeah. So you can see there's actually quite a strong correlation of what happens between Australian dollar, US dollar, and the euro against the Australian dollar. Okay, and the only sort of difference is sort of in this area here. So I'm just going to remove that now because we've used that example twice. So we don't need to use it again. So next along, indicators. Now, this is where, you know, scary screen, all right? It's not scary really. All you need on this, just go up to the search bar and search for whatever tool it is you are learning to trade currently. So if it is RSI, just type in RSI, okay? Just use the basic ones, that's fine. And you can see I've got a little star next to my RSI. What that means is that's a favorite of mine, okay? So if you typed in Bollinger Bands, you can see Bollinger Bands up the top, okay? I've got a star next to it, yeah? And once I've got a star next to all my favorite tools, okay, I then just go into my favorites bar here, and you can see these are all my favorites. I don't venture out of this selection generally, okay? So you can just pick whatever tool you want. So let's pick a couple of moving averages, and let's pick RSI, and we'll pick up with them later. Okay, so I'll just cross out of that now. I'm happy I've got what I want. And you see they just appear on the chart, and I'm actually just going to make my RSI smaller just by going on the top line, clicking and holding and moving the mouse down. Okay, great. So next up, templates. Again, this is where I save my template configuration. So if I wanted to save this configuration of indicators, so I've got my moving average, I've got my RSI at the bottom, okay, all I do is I just go up to templates and save indicator template, and you can type whatever you want in there, it will save it and you can come back to it at any time. Now that you can do as many as that you want on them on the free version, I believe. Alternatively, if you've got indicators on your chart, you can also right click, remove all indicators. Yeah. You can also hide your indicators. So if I wanted to hide my RSI, okay, I would just go over that little I in the bottom left hand corner, and now it's hidden. Oh, okay. But we'll go over that later. So next up on the top is the alerts. Okay, if I wanted to add an alert to something on here. So for instance, if I put a horizontal line in, and like I said, you guys get one free alert on, as far as I'm aware, and you wanted to put an alert on that line, okay, what I do is the only way I set alerts is to double click the line, go on alert on the right hand side, and just press only per bar close, or only once, or once per bar, or once per minute, and then just press create. I don't think you have these options on the free account. I don't think you have the send email or send SMS on the free account. I think it's just on screen, but this is pro account, like I say, and then I just press create, and then it would come up as an alert on the right hand side. Okay, so that's alerts. This ideas tab here, what you can do with this is you can actually select all ideas people have created. You can select ideas of people I follow and my ideas, or my ideas only. So if I press all my ideas here, okay, it's giving all the ideas from people on the 4-hour time frame that have published an idea using that button in the bottom right hand side. Okay, so if I was to click the latest one, your odd H4 bearish butterfly, I can actually go straight to that man's or woman's analysis of that chart and go, oh, that's nice. Do you know what? You know, he might have some in there. Okay, and you can do it to all of them. Everyone charts differently, guys. It's a good learning tool to see how other people do it, but not a signal service. These guys might be completely guessing. All right. So that is one way to use ideas, and I'm going to I don't really use this anymore, but I'm going to put it back to my ideas only. See if I've had any ideas lately on this. Doesn't really look like it. No. Okay, so next up, we have the replay button. Now, I've really never used this, so it's pretty much, right, once you've got this on the screen, I'm not sure this is available on a free account either, but you can select a time you want to go back to, yeah, and then replay it. Okay, so as you can see on the right hand side of the chart now, price is getting replayed for us. Okay, and that's on the 4-hour time frame. So as you can see, head and shoulders formation coming in now. I had a sell there, but it didn't work. Okay, so that's, if you want to use that, that's fine. I don't use this tool. I don't really see the point in it. So I'm just going to cancel that. But it's there if you want to have a play around. So next, that's just a quick undo. So undo the last thing you've done, basically. Okay, and then redo. It would be next to it, like this little arrow. Redo. James, we'll go through that in a bit, mate. What I'll do, I'll log out and then go and look at the account selections in a bit. Okay, this won't take much longer because we're not going to be charting up stuff today, guys. We're just going to be going through the buttons, what they do, and then you can have a play around. So next we have select layout. Now you probably won't have this on the free account, so I'm not going to talk about that. Load. This is where you load chart layouts, make new chart layouts, make copies and rename stuff. Again, on the free account, this tab is pretty redundant. What you can do is save your layouts, as in you've got a black background and stuff on the chart is different colors and that. You can save that and then have another layout with a white background. Okay, this is only really that relevant for pro accounts plus. I'm on a platinum account, so what I get is I actually get 8 or 16 charts on the same screen. Okay, that's for that. As for, you know, when I was on a free account, I didn't bother with any of this. Okay, so there's nothing really I'm going to mention more on this. Now, if you want to save your charts, okay, you can try saving each chart as a layout, but I don't think it works properly on the free account. What the best way to do it, as far as I'm aware, and Dan's probably a good one to talk to about this. What was I going to say? If you only have one chart open at a time, okay, and they're all in your watch list, okay, then just move to each one in the same tab. Okay, as far as I'm aware, that is the best way to save your charts in the free version. Now, what I found when I was learning this is I didn't know that. Okay, so every time I brought a chart up, I was remaking that chart. And that's why I'm so good at charting now, I suppose. So just a little insight for you there, guys. This little cog, okay, just brings up your chart properties again in the same way as your right click and properties down the bottom. Okay, so this little box here takes you to full screen mode, as we discussed before. And the great thing about this is it gets rid of all that noise around the outside, okay? Now, I've got my selection of tools that I always use, okay? And I'll show you how to get this shortly. But for now, I'm just going to escape out of that. Okay, so the top one here, as we explained, is your watch list. You can add symbols on the top, such as your USD, yeah. Okay, and I'll bring you the same menu as what's brought up on the left-hand side, except this time it just adds it to this list instead. Okay, so I'll cancel out of that. So you can create multiple lists using, again, I don't know if this is available on the free. Create multiple lists using this tab here. Okay, so I've got a crypto watch list as well. There you are. There it is. Crypto and Forex watch lists. Okay. You can rename them, save them, create new list. All right. Pretty self-explanatory. So I'll just go back to FX. Gives me all the FX pairs that I trade. Right. So that's that tab. You do get daily Forex news in the bottom. Some of it's quite interesting, but generally, I can move that out the way. Details on the day's range and technical analysis, what he's saying on this chart and whatnot is available down in details here. I don't use this either, so I'll just move that out of the way, and that just gives me my watch list, and then I can interchange between them all as I wish, using, and what it does is it keeps the indicator on. Okay, so next up we have the alarms. Okay, I'm not going to talk about them anymore because on the free account you only get one, and you have to be on TradingView at the time, as far as I'm aware. So that's where the alarms are. Next one is your data window. So what it does, in fact, I've never looked at this with the moving averages on before. Okay, so what this OHLC means is open, high, low, close, and okay, and that's talking about a candle, right? So if we look at this current candle, okay, if I go over it, you'll see, oh, why is it black? Okay, the text is black in there for some reason. Let me just format that quickly, if I can. All right, never mind. I'm not going to bother formatting that for the moment. But what the open O means is open, okay? And the opening area of this is where, okay, where it comes across from the previous candle, okay, which would be that the bottom of the body of this candle going up, okay? The high would be the highest price has got within this new candle, okay, which in this case would be the top of this wick, yeah? And that's what the high value means. That's in price, okay? The low value would be the bottom of the wick, yeah? So this area here. The close would be the closing of the candle. So this is price will move up and down in this candle, and the close is where the body is when that candle finishes within this time frame. So this is a 4-hour time frame. Therefore, if you look on the right on your axis here, you can see it tells you this candle has 1 hour and 42 minutes 57 seconds left until it forms, and that will give you your close. Okay, so for instance, you see this green candle before it closed here because that's where the top of the body is on the right hand side. Okay, and as you can see, it's exactly where the opening price of this candle is. Okay, so that's a little bit of information on the data window. It'll also tell you what the RSI is at any point while you're scrolling around the chart. Okay, it's the same with the moving averages. What price is the moving average on at that point? Okay, so that's the data window, and it'll work the same for any other oscillators or tools you have on here that has an input into this data window. So that's that. Hot list, just ignore this. Don't need that. Calendar, this is the economic calendar. Again, I don't use this. I use FX Street. Okay, but you can use this if you wish. My ideas, this is if you publish ideas on TradingView. Okay, it's a quick reference to them ideas, and you can favorite the ones you really, really like, I suppose. Okay, but you won't be doing this yet, so that's something for down the road. This box here is chat box in random groups. Okay, there's a group for everything on here. You want to talk about, you know, the price of cardboard or something, it'll probably be on here. But when I don't bother in here, I don't really go in here. Okay, so if you wanted to talk to everyone about cryptocurrencies, you press that and then chat above. But you know, this is something I do on here, to be honest with you. So the next box down is your private chats. Now I do this a bit more. I haven't done it lately. So this is to chat to someone in private on here. Okay, it's quite a nice tool for marketing. Okay, if you're got decent charts and then you publish them, okay, and people start chatting to you, that's quite nice. I mean, I haven't got any sales on TradingView yet, but I think I will in the future. Okay, so you can just do that. Very easy to navigate. Just click someone and type your message there, or search for them. The next one down is the ideas stream from traders that you yourself follow. Okay, so for instance, on anywhere on this site, if you hover over the name, okay, you can actually follow the person on there. Yeah, follow or message or unfollow, right? This guy's not very good though. So that's a constant ideas stream. So every time someone publishes an idea and you follow them, okay, it will go into your ideas stream. This one here is notification. So this tells me when someone agrees with my idea. Okay, it tells me when someone's commented on an idea, and it tells you when someone's following you. Okay, so I get quite a lot of follows on this. It's only going to keep going up as well. And this next one down is something that you will never use, so don't even bother pressing it. Contact support tab. Okay, bottom right, and then you've got a help tab there as well. Contact support status page, feature request, help and wiki, it's quite useful. All right, so that is the right hand side of what is the price of cardboard, Dave? Oh, that is a poor example. All right, I was just being extravagant. So now let's do this bottom bar, and then we can start moving on to the tools. So on the left hand side here, you've got quick clicks to price over, which will give you, just bear with it a minute. Price over 1 day, and then what I'll do is right click, reset. That's actually a 1 minute candle, right? I don't want that, and that's why I don't use this. So this is the 5 minutes, and this is from 6 o'clock this morning. So there's something wrong with this algorithm. Okay, I wouldn't bother using these down the bottom. Year to date. So this works. Okay, you've got 2018 there. You click year to date. Okay, it'll just give you candles for this year. If you want 1 year's worth of candles, there you are. That works as well. That's 1 year's worth of candles. If you want 5 years, that gives you the weekly chart, and then that's price over 5 years. I'm not sure what all means. Oh, this is price since it started. Yeah, and then you've got a little go to go to any date you want, as we discussed earlier. So I just want price over this year to date. So there we are. Just press YTD, and this is price since January the 1st. I'll move on to the 4-hour chart because I can, and then right-click Reset Chart. Okay, and that gives me a nice a nice looking chart, which is clear, and I can see what's been happening since, what's that, the 11th of January back there. So that's this bar on the left. Here's your current price in your selected time zone. Ignore this one, ignore that EXT. Toggle percentage, not sure what that means. Toggle percentage just toggles your axis to give you a percentage of price rather than the actual price itself, so you're not going to use that. You're not going to use that, and you're not going to use auto scale very often, so I'm going to ignore that. And this little cog takes you to the scale properties in the same way that right-clicking and going to properties and going to scales does. Okay, so that's that little top bar. Screener, test notes, Pine editor, strategy tester, trading panel, ignore for now. I don't use these. And then you come along to the right hand side. Okay, so let's say I want to do a very quick screenshot to my group. Okay, so tester. Okay, I just want a really quick snapshot. So I'm going to click that little camera button in the bottom right hand side. Okay, and that gives me a quick link to copy to clipboard. I can tweak that out. Okay, I can tweak that out now, and then I can just put that link anywhere I want. So, you know, just to show that, I can put it back in the text. Yeah, quick link. Also, if you press the camera, you can save image. Okay, and this gives you a static screen. Okay, and then you can right click and save image as, or copy image and paste it somewhere. Okay, so it's really useful. It's really easy to do, guys. So have a play around with that. Twitter symbol, share on Twitter a snapshot of your chart as a picture and whatever you write. This is stock twits, something I don't use, so I'm ignoring that. And then we come to the publish idea page. So let's say we wanted to publish this idea. This little play button on the right hand side is the record video idea. This is what I do now. I do recordings of my analysis now. If you want to see some of it, come to TradingView and look up Pardo 269 and you'll see some of my stuff. But if you just want to share a chart with the community, okay, you're looking at publish idea. We're just left clicking that. Okay, you're putting a title in, you're putting blah 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 in. If you want to make it look all pretty, you can. I just usually put like 2 lines in there, but you can link it to any other ideas on here. Okay, using this bar at the bottom. Again, not something I use because I like to take credit for myself. Up the top right hand side, we've got whether this is analysis of the chart or it's an education of the chart. Okay, I just leave mine all as analysis because the education is analysis. And then whether you think price is going to go long, going to go short, or neutral, as in it could go both ways. Then you're picking your categories. Okay, so if you just press the little arrows, okay, it'll bring up many different ways you can tag this chart. So mine usually around support resistance, supply and demand, Fibonacci, trend lines. You can only select 3, okay? Harmonic patterns, okay? Chart patterns, indicators and overlays, include the moving averages in there, volumes in there. Wave analysis, Elliott waves in there. GAN, whatever. And then we come to fundamental analysis, which is news and stuff. And then again, it gives you the option to share to Twitter or stock tweets. And you can publish private public idea that will send it out onto the TradingView platform for everyone to look at, or press this button here and it changes to private, publish private idea. So that will publish it onto the platform, but no one will be able to see it unless you link them to it. Okay, so you can do this with me if you want to send me a chart. Okay, guys will send me this chart and then I can play with it how I want to. Okay, so that's as far as we need to go with the publishing ideas for the time being. And if you're in my group, okay, I encourage people to make charts, have a go, post it in Pardo effects, and I will do a video analysis of it. I don't get many anymore, but it's just an option for you guys. So I'm going to cancel out of that. Okay, so on this, back on this main page, what we're going to do is we're going to look at placing some tools now. It's important to note that if you want to make any of these bars disappear, okay, there's tiny little tab, tiny little triangle. I don't know if you can see it there. It says show widgets when you hover over it. Okay, if you want to make this bar disappear back into the side, just click that. Okay, and then click it again and it goes back in, right? You can also use the pull bar. It's the same on the left hand side, guys. It should be an arrow on this left hand side somewhere. Yeah, it's down the bottom here, look. Okay, so what that does is it makes the bar disappear back to the left, and then you can bring it back out using that tiny little arrow. For the bottom one, okay, it's a pull up, or you just click one of these, which everyone will do by accident, such as like pine header or whatever that is, right? It's come up and people are going, oh, what's going on? Just close toolbar, just that little tiny little rectangle, okay? And if you are using one of these, again, should be able to drag it back as well using the drag tool. Yeah, so there we are, okay? So our chart's set up exactly how we want it. Our candles are all right, looking good, okay? Now we're going to look at actually placing some tools in here. So I'm just going to go over the basic ones, okay? So what we do is next to each one of these symbols on the left hand side, there's a little arrow, okay? We click to expand that menu, and then it gives you the tools that are related to that first one in that menu. And then if I was to, for instance, if I was to select an arrow, okay, the arrow will show in that menu, and that'll be the default selection until you change it, right? So for the purpose of this, let's say I wanted a horizontal line to indicate support and resistance. I'm just left-clicking that arrow, coming in here and pressing left-clicking horizontal line, and that's it selected. So I then put that in an area of support and resistance like that, okay? And that's it. I'll now need to go and select it again if I want to. So I go and left click it again, put it in another area of support and resistance. So there we are. Okay. Now, how to manipulate these lines, we're double clicking them. Left click, double click, right? You might find it easier if you make them bigger. So all we're doing is we're just clicking how thick we want that line using this. And if you want to change the color, you can. Okay, and then if you want to change what the line looks like, you can. Okay, support resistance lines should be filled in as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to leave it like that. it gives you a text menu. Okay, so if I wanted to put daily line in there, I could put daily. Okay, and then okay, and then obviously on the right hand side it says daily. If I just wanted to put support and resistance, okay, then you can see for you guys that are less experienced, that just gives you a reminder. Oh yeah, there's support, there's resistance, there's resistance. Yeah. So you can get that text in the middle or on the left. Okay, if you want to. I just use it on the right. Alignment of text, whether you want it on the top, bottom, or middle of that line, as you can see. Okay, I usually leave mine on the bottom. Bold, italic, okay, the usual settings, and you've actually even got text font on there. Okay, the tools are exceptional on here, guys. They are exceptional. If you go to coordinates, and this is the same for trend lines as well, guys. I'm not going to go over trend lines as well. Go to coordinates. You can actually type in where you want that line to go. So if you wanted it to go to 17.0, you can see price went straight there. But I don't want it there. It's a support resistance line, so I want it on my support resistance. Visibility, no idea what this means. Honestly, no idea what this means. I've never used it, so I'm just going to leave it. Alert, again, we can add an alert to that line so we get a notification when price crosses it. But we're not going to do that because we're all on free accounts, except me and a few others. Okay, so that is your horizontal line. If you use this all the time, which you should be, there's a little star on the right hand side where you can add this to favorites. I'd recommend you do that. Okay, because then it will bring it up on this little bar here. Okay, and then it's easy grab tool. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so I select, these are pretty much the only tools I use. Okay, so they're the ones I use are starred. So if you came into this menu and trend line, okay, slight differences. Okay, I'm not going to go through all this color stuff again because it's the same, but you can extend the line indefinitely, okay, or just have 2 points. Yeah, same stuff, guys. Okay. Anything different on here? I'm not going to talk about rays. You've got to figure them out. Okay, so parallel channel is quite a difficult tool to place. So what I'm going to do with this is click once, click twice, come down, and you'll see it'll drag it down. Okay, so you're placing your both tops to start with. So again, let's get it more bold. Parallel channel, click once over there, and then drag it down as far as you want, right? And then that allows you to manipulate this tool like this. Yeah, so for instance, okay, if I was in a supply area there, if I thought price was going to come down and I wanted to use the color orange to go this side of my trend line, okay, I could use that tool, and then I could adapt that tool as I wanted. Okay, so I want to make it more transparent, so I go in and make it more transparent. Okay, so that's about it for that. Okay, so this bottom one will always move it down. Okay, and these ones at the side will always move it around. Whee! All right. Don't really need to talk about any more of these tools in here. Add your favorite ones to the bar. Next one down is more advanced tools. So we're talking about pitchforks, shifts, GAN, fib retracements, fib time zones, okay, stuff like that. Okay, Again, I only use a few of these. I use fib time zone, fib retracement, and pitchfork, and that's why they've got stars next to them. Okay, so what I'll do now is a handy trick with pitchforks that you've probably picked up from the other zoom I've done on TradingView anyway, but if you select pitchfork, okay, and you come down to the bottom here, press magnet, and then press zoom in, what we're doing is we're actually getting our pitchfork exactly on the wick that we want. So let's say I go boom. Oh, I've done my pitchfork the wrong way. Boom. It's not working. Right, that's better. So with the magnet tool selected, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to zoom in using the zoom in button on the ends of the wicks, and I can actually, you can see how it snaps to the wick. Okay. Pitchforks is all about precision. So that's why I always do this, to make sure that that pitchfork is precise. So I'll zoom in on all three areas and just snap that median onto the wick. And I'll do the same with the bottom. It's already there, okay? But if it wasn't, if it was sitting there, snaps to it. Okay, so that is now a perfectly set pitchfork. And actually, that's a pretty good pitchfork. That's not bad at all. Okay, so I'm actually may leave that in, because you can see how price reacts around these lines. The median, bottom line. It's not bad. It's not bad. So that's a pitchfork. And what I'm going to do now is, because I don't use the magnet for any other tool, I'm just going to deselect it. Okay, now Fibonacci. Okay, if you wanted to use a Fibonacci, very, very, very simple to place. Okay, they're not scary items. All I want you to do is select it and then press the top next to a wick, and then select at the bottom next to a wick. Okay, and you can actually see myself building up a chart now, because you can see, look where that support and resistance is. Okay, and just placing that Fibonacci on the chart, there's a 50% level exactly where that support and resistance is. So I'm actually going to leave this chart as it is for now, because that's actually some pretty good analysis going on there. All right, I will remove the pitchfork though. So you can see now we've used a couple of tools. You've got support and resistance, a major support and resistance at the 50% level, right? And this is really easy stuff, guys. Price doesn't go through there. Price doesn't go through there. Okay. So fib time zone we're not going to talk about, but if you do use it and you spot a chart pattern, price breaks out at the 75% level, this tells you where that is. All right, that's all you need to know for the time being. Okay, so the next tool down is your like proper drawing tools. So brush. Okay, again, you can change it to whatever color you want, how thick it is, whatnot, and then just draw. All right, simple. Don't need to go through that one. Same with rectangle. Okay, just click and drag. Rotated rectangle is actually what I use to draw on trend lines instead of the parallel channel tool. So click, click, click. Click one side, click the other, drag down, and then I can turn in that using the middle button and moving the sides in or out using the outer buttons. Okay, so if I was to put something on that trend line, you know, you can see how easy that is to do. A bit of manipulation. Triangle, self-explanatory, use it in the same way. Yeah. Ellipse is quite nice, okay, to highlight areas such as that. Next, you've got your text, and I'll let you play around with this. You don't need me to go through this, okay? I just use standard text box. Click, blah, blah, blah. And it's like Microsoft Word. All right, it's just the same, okay? You've got text wrap. You can put borders on if you want to make it look pretty, okay? But we're just going to leave it as that. The next one down, you've got all your complex shapes. So XABCD pattern, which is a harmonic scan. Okay, so let's say X, A, B, C, D. All right, all of a sudden, you know, you see a harmonic scan. Okay, and this is how you take scans from MT4 or whatever and come onto TradingView and redraw them using this tool here. Okay, this looks like a spider, XABCD pattern. And then again, if you want, you can get your magnet out. You can zoom into the corners and you can get them precise. Yep, tiny little movement on there. Go down to A. Okay, tiny movement on there. Now that's accurate. Zoom into B. That's now accurate. Move into C. Okay, snaps down, accurate. And now we're just waiting for a D. All right, so that's that. I'll deselect the magnet tool now. Then you've got the cipher pattern. That's just another more harmonic scanner pattern, really. ABCD pattern. Not going to talk about that now. Triangle, no. Not talk about that now. 3 drives, 2 advanced. Head and shoulders. You see this pattern quite a lot. Okay. In fact, we're not going to talk about any more of them now. You can have a play around with them, see what you find. The next tool down is the positions tool. So what we're looking at here is your long and short position tool. So if you thought price was going to go long here, okay, you can actually look at, so if you're looking to buy and get this harmonic scan now, okay, let's say your stop loss had to go below this low here. So actually you can see it tells you exactly how many pips you'll gain, exactly how many pips you'll lose if it stops out, okay, and it tells you your risk to reward. So for me personally, I don't take anything less than 2 risk to reward. So price would have to get up there, which it may do. Okay. By the way, guys, I don't know if this is an accurate scan. I just saw it on the charts and thought I'd draw it. Okay, so that's what that tool does. The short position tool does the opposite. Okay. So you can play around with them. I don't really use the others. Forecast will tell you how long it'll take price to reach that area and what percentage loss it is and whatnot. You have a play around with that. Date range is how long between 2 areas. Okay, so between there's 211 bars on the 4-hour chart, which would be 46 days. Again, you can have a play around with that. Not got any chat, have I? No. Sidders, I'll show you how to do that in a minute. You can't really, you have to put a horizontal line in. So in fact, I'll cover that quickly. So Sidders has asked on Facebook how you put a 50 RSI line in. What I'm going to do, right click, insert indicator. Favorites, RSI. Now, it doesn't let you put a default third line in. So if you go into your tools on this, okay, and if you're doing a snapback, you'd want to change that to 13. And then you went to style, it doesn't actually give you the choice to put a third line in saying 50. All right, so you could change that to 68 and you could change that to 32, but it doesn't give you that third choice. So what I'm going to do okay, is, in fact, I'll just change the colors on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a horizontal line from my menu, yeah, put that down here around the 50 mark, double click it, go to coordinates, and actually just put 50 in. Okay, and now you have a 50 line, right? I hope you understand that. If you don't, let me know. So it's the same. If you wanted a 75 line, okay, just put another line around the 75 on here. Just a normal horizontal line. Go to coordinates, 75. Bang, there you are. Okay, and if you wanted alert, you can put alerts on these lines as well. If you want to be alerted when price hit these lines. All right, so hopefully that helps you, sitters. It's a nice little trick. So I'll just remove them for now. So where was I? Yeah, so that's a date forecasting tool. Price range is price within a certain area. So there's 96 pips, 5.74%. Easy. Date and price range. Self-explanatory, guys. I don't need to go through these. You can play with these. The next one down is the silly little, okay, illustrations. Okay, I'm not going to go through these, guys. You don't need to know about any of these. There's nothing important here. So, for instance, how people would use this is, you know, when they're doing their ideas, they do that. Oh, yeah, you get the picture, right? Okay, so you can have a play around with that. It's not essential for charting. This tool beneath it is essential. This is the ruler, okay? And this is how I measure price. So I click once, and then I click up the top. How far is that? That's 13.26%, 206.9 pips. Well, whatever it is, this is on the silver chart. I don't know why I picked the silver chart, but it's on the silver chart. So that's whatever it is, okay? Better example for you guys on a normal Forex chart. So this is the pound Japanese yen, okay? Top to bottom, okay, you've got 1,163 pips. All right, simple as that. The zoom buttons, obviously, the magnet button we've already gone through. Stay in drawing mode. I've never really used that. Lock all drawing tools, again, lock everything in place. And hide all drawing tools. So for instance, let's say I had one of them, one of them, one of them, that. Okay, if I just press hide all drawing tools, actually I can't see any of them anymore. Okay, and then I can click it again and get them back. Right. Remove all indicators and drawing tools. Done. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's it for the basics on how to work these charts. Okay, what I'm going to do now quickly is just going to go into the have a look at the how much it takes to upgrade. Okay, now please, if you want to sign up to TradingView, please get in touch and I'll give you my referral link. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign out. Now, is it letting me sign out? Okay, so I'm now signed out. So I'm going to go back to the home page. I'm not sure it was going to let me. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. All right, it's not going to let me do that. It's not going to let me look at the prices. But if I sign in again, just bear with me one sec. So if you have a free account, okay, go up to click here, account and billing. So, okay, you can see I'm on a premium package, and I paid $360 a yearly subscription. And what I'll say to you guys is, you see how it's a premium trial. Premium is the top one, by the way. It's the most expensive one. Premium trial ordered and then cancelled. What happened was, what happens is, if you get a trial, you want to go pro, you get a trial. Towards the end of that trial, they will offer you 50% off. Okay, 50% discount. Okay, so actually that's $720 for the year. Okay, and they're not all that expensive. Don't really want to press cancel my pro account to show you the others, but basically, guys, you have to come on and see for yourself, or I'll post a screenshot after this of the accounts settings if I can. All right, guys, I think that's all we got. I don't need to say anything else. If there's any other questions, I'll just stay on for a couple of minutes just to let you fire some questions in if you've got any. So I'm just going to mute myself for 2 minutes, okay, while I wait for any questions that may come in on here or Facebook. Cheers. Okay, guys, I think that's it. There's no questions, so I'm going to end it here. Thank you very much for tuning in, and it's been a pleasure. It's been quite boring for me, but needs must. Hope there's a lot of people that get something out of this. It took me a long time to figure a lot of this stuff out, guys. If you want to join TradingView, get in contact. I'll put my referral link in. All right, guys, thank you very much. I will see you soon.